Okay.
Great. Yeah, we're going to share your screen too.
Okay.
Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Buddy Lord, and I'm here with Xeviuss. And Xeviuss is my colorist on a project. I would say just on Blade Knight Productions in general, because I probably won't ever use another colorist. You know, once you go Xeviuss, you don't go back.
Yeah, hey man, I appreciate that. I'm not bad at what I do. I've been doing this for a long time, but not in comics.
No, absolutely. I mean, you said you've been doing this in the print business for 24 years, 25?
Yeah, 23, 24. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
because I'm an old man, obviously.
We're all old.
Oh, you're old too, yeah.
I see Pixel up in the chat. He says, "I see my name isn't blue. This will not do."
All right.
Really, Pixel? Good to know.
Okay, we'll fix that. So tell me, this is our very first show. We can get into that in a minute, what we're going to do here. What are we called on YouTube? Because I don't have I'm not subbed yet.
We are on Culture.
Yeah, okay, let's try that out. And I think Pixel wants to be a mod, huh? Should we let him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You have control of the account too, so you should be able to make him a mod. Make him blue.
Yeah.
I'm so blue.
So, how are you, man? How's your day? How's
I'm pretty good. You know, I've been. Today was cold, and I live in the South. And when it's cold, I do what South people do when it's cold, which is nothing.
Yep, that's good.
I went outside. I was like, "Oh shit, it's cold," and then came back inside, got dressed a little bit further, did the absolute minimum, worked out, and then came home and did nothing. I hibernated like a bear.
Yeah, that's weird because I'm way up in the north, and it's warmer here than it is where you are.
Yeah, I mean, right now it was 31 degrees earlier. It might even be just a little bit like either that or a little bit colder. I don't know. As soon as I got in my car, I was like, icy warning, icy warning. I'm like, thanks, I needed to know that.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so we had a few things going on. Let's talk about we got a lot of art and a lot of us to cover earlier. I just wanted to I put this up there because it was something that moves while we talk. You know what I mean?
Well, should we talk about the show? What are we doing? What is On Culture?
On Culture is okay. No. On Culture is all about pop culture, politics, and whatever else X and I want to talk about. I mean, would you say that's pretty correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, we did a show previous. It was a little bit of a different tone. I think this is going to be a little more forthright, a little more comicsy, a little bit more late night, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of late night folk. We just like to. I mean, it's just going to be us chattering people. You know, you've got, you know, X. He's got, I don't know, like you just said, 23 to 25 years, somewhere around there, printing, coloring, art experience. You've got me, who's got a ton of experience in business management and psychology. And between the two of us, we have some really wacky conversations, and you're going to be privy to them. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. Yeah. We still have thoughts on movies, bad TV shows, politics, whatever. And I think we're just going to evolve and see what people react to. But yeah, this is not the other show no more.
Yeah. So, all right. So we kind of begin with comicsgate, I guess. So we'll just jump into that. We've already kind of seen. Everybody that wants to see this has probably already seen it. I mean, it's up to 47,000. So it didn't quite reach the 90,000 that they had hoped. But I mean, that wasn't obviously like a huge. You know, they were just like shooting for the moon, I think, right?
Well, I mean, you know, I caught a lot of it live this afternoon. But I'm thrilled. I'm a big fan. You know, always have been. And they were making 10 grand an hour for the first 3 hours, right?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, he's done everything right. The video is pretty decent. It looks like a goofy kind of schlock film with heart. I mean, good for him. That's exactly. I mean, I don't think he promised anything more than that.
Nope.
You know, 47,566 backers. That's a good amount of backers. I mean, that's that right there. Like that number, 560. That's a number that somebody that was just beginning. Which I mean, this is his first campaign. Yeah. And someone that's just beginning a campaign would love that number right there. I mean, that's gold. I would like that number. You know, in a few months, if we get that number, I'd be happy. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd be like, like, wow, you know, and I'm talking like after 3 months of campaigning.
Yeah.
So good for him. Absolutely fantastic. Just shows the power of the community of comicsgate, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I think there's different sub communities inside of comicsgate, and we've talked about this sometimes.
Mm.
I'm the guy who works half the time out of Australia on a weird clock. I'm up all night all the time. And Cecil has a bit of his own culture that people like you who are normal and get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I think, you miss out on some of that when, if Cecil's drunk and he makes a video at 5 a.m., it's hilarious. And
Let's
a lot of
the
those things.
comments are, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, and I'm not logged in on this, so you got to make Pixel blue or Pixel will get blue.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll look at that in just a moment.
Oh, you mean these comments? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, these are all people we know.
This is Aldous, long live Comicsgate. Thanks for nothing, Cecil. Okay, I don't know what that's about. I hope other comic campaigns also make more money so Cecil can laugh in their faces. Kick Cecil. Cecil is love. Cecil is life. Make Cecil drunk again. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
It's the main cover for the cash grab and Ashcan perk, right? Apparently, you can be the head of the human centipede for only $25. Wait, no, that one's I'm sorry, that's the cover. You can be the head of the centipede for.
Yeah, what is it? I wanted to look into that. I saw this.
This must be it for $3,000.
Okay, let's see.
No one has grabbed that yet, so it's still out there, people. If you want it, there it is. Just saying.
He's gonna get it. You know it, right?
I think somebody like Ethan would buy it.
Well, you know what? You want to know what I think?
What's that?
Is someone like Ethan or a few people will get together, and they're gonna put somebody's face on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't that a given?
Ooh, that's dangerous, but maybe.
Is that legal? I wonder.
I mean, you could technically throw out there, it kind of depends on how much somebody wants to fight it. Because I saw this Sheila Alien or whatever her name is, she was talking about it, and I said, well, yeah. I mean, all you'd really have to do is say that it was then any likeness. You'd have to get a lawyer to draft a notice and say this is completely fictional and any likeness is unintentional. You know. Now the problem with that is if they were like bull crap, look, you knew me, I can prove that, blah 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 blah. If they really wanted to fight it, they could.
Yeah. So
it's just a matter of how serious anybody wants to take it. Which, as we've seen anything with some of some Comicsgate and some people who are against it or whatever, or just against the people in general, people get a little butthurt sometimes. So they might actually not work in their favor.
Let's hold on that topic for a minute. Actually, that's interesting because I've done some work with Ricada, and I've followed a few his prominent shows over the last year have involved Vic Mignogna as well as Richard Meyer, and basically these things are not going as well as people expected because once you put yourself out there, you become a public figure. Yeah. So if this isn't as black and white as it would have been in my mind 2 years ago. I don't want to put any thoughts in someone's head, but say they wanted to put Doug TenNapel on here, right? I mean, it's a pretty obvious target. He's a YouTuber. He's a pretty famous guy. Is it actually not just parody? Yeah. I don't know. It would be fun to watch this. I'm sure Nick would get a heck of a lot, would have a lot of fun talking about it. So.
Oh yeah, Nick could get a blast. He'd have a blast. He loves that crap, man.
In fact, that'd be fun because, I think we are in most ways. I'm kind of nonpartisan. And I'm pretty sure Ricada is, and he's buddies with TenNapel, right? I'm saying hypothetically. I only use his name because they're doing the Doug cover, right? So yeah, who knows? So can't wait to see.
Okay, Pixel has been turned into a moderator.
Yeah, is he still here?
I don't know. Somebody left.
Congratulations, Pixel.
You are now the moderator. Yeah. We can play the Final Fantasy music. Dun, 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 dun.
That's good.
I don't know if you even recognize that.
Nope. Last I got off the train at 7.
You got off oh man. Actually, I did. I think I did too. Really.
Okay, sure.
It just was. I don't know. I liked Final Fantasy. I like any kind of video game. Really. I mean, it was God. I bought Witcher 3 for the Switch a few weeks ago. I played it pretty intensely for a day and a half, and then I'm I got crap to do. I put it away.
Yeah, I put away, Red Dead Redemption. I put away almost a year ago on Boxing Day, and I have touched it once since then. We don't have time. We make comic books. We don't have time to sit around and play Xbox. My humble opinion.
I can't wait to never receive this book. I'll email you asking for an update in a year or so, and we'll look forward to a dismissive answer while you vacation it up in a foreign country.
Hear, hear.
Okay. Hey,
Actually,
if people are willing to do that, that's fine. That's their thing.
I tweeted to the same effect yesterday, and Cecil commented or liked it or something. I don't know. He has always said that he's not really going to do the book, and I think that's hilarious. I'm pretty sure he's gonna, but wouldn't that be a coup if he just said, "Yeah, I told you guys, there's no book."
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see what we have different. I don't know. I think he should deliver the product basically, but that's his thing. So this is Clint Stoker. He created Downcast, or he wrote Downcast, and a lot of people. I mean, Ethan said it was like a movie, and a lot of people have had a lot of really good things to say about it. He's got 274 backers, which again is a really nice number. He overcame what everybody thought. Like when he had his initial campaign, Ethan kind of like coached him on how to do it. He said, you get a YouTube channel, you do this, you do that. And I remember like Clint was like, I'm ready. It was like a Rocky montage, right? It's like, I'm ready. And, Ethan told him, well, you've done everything right. You've done everything that you can. So that's great.
Yep.
So they signed up for it. So he went into it. He created that, and he did really well. I think he got like 8,000 or 10,000 on that one the first day. And look at that. He's done a lot better this time. He's already at 13,600. I think that's fantastic. Again, it just kind of shows like the buying power of the people in the community in comicsgate and in indie comics.
Yeah. No, I mean, bear in mind, this all happened in the last less than 12 hours, right? That's a lot.
Yeah. All of this stuff has happened today.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's pretty fantastic. Good for him. This is a story basically about two teenagers trying to save their father. They're in this huge city that's like floating in the air, and there's some sort of strange material that like keeps the city floating. And one of the girl, I believe, Joanne, I think, finds out that she can control it. So interesting. Could be a great story. I mean, he's got some like, kind of subtext, some nuance, like unhappiness going on, not as happy as everything look. You got like the kind of workman's poor community sort of here, like the Freeman sort of like uprising, and there's probably like Joanne with there and like, oh, is this a hoax? So there's a lot of stuff going on. Looks like an interesting story. Clint is a writer. He's written some books on Amazon. I mean, I haven't read them myself, but I've been told that they're pretty good. So, if you are into this for writing, then I think Clint is a safe bet.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read any of his stuff either. I mean, we were on a show last week. He's a good dude. He's a very smart guy. And having a book that actually comes from a writer hiring artists is a nice, that could do well for him, as opposed to artists writing their own stuff, depending, right? So.
Yep. I wanted to take a real quick look at, since we were talking about comicsgate, at IndieCron, which is a website that a guy named Pixel Trader runs. We know him. Yeah,
kind of.
And Pixel is he created this. I don't know, like it feels like it's like 5 years ago, but obviously it wasn't. A couple years ago or whatever.
Yep.
And he does this all on his own, guys. So when you're yelling at like, hey, the team of IndieCron, why don't you do this? You're yelling at Pixel.
That's right.
It's just one dude.
I know he gets yelled at a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, recently there was some ambassadors that stepped down, as my understanding, and so I don't know. Right now, Pixel's just trying to like ask everybody what they want. So if you want some features in IndieCron, if there's something that you think it should have that it doesn't, I mean, let him know, because he would really like to have that information. He wants to give the customers what they want. I would love it if IndieCron would turn into eventually like an actual independent comic book hub that stores could come to and buy their products from.
That would be cool. I'm sure that's pretty doable. I mean,
or even people, right? Like, wouldn't that be amazing if this was more like a landing page? You got like really cool, like, Kickstarter versus Indiegogo or something right here. And then you got some like the main books up in here and the products. I mean, it's cool that everybody's listed, but I don't know if everybody needs to be on the front page. I mean, what do you think?
I don't want to get into the usability. I know there's a lot of complicated stuff the way that the CMS
Yeah, that's
is set
true.
up.
Yeah, it's true.
So I kind of have to break it down and, frankly, just get on the phone with Pixel.
Yeah.
But, he's made some good choices. So
Yeah, he has. He's doing good. It wouldn't bother me at all if Indycron was rebranded. I'm just saying.
yeah. Oh, hey, we've talked about that. Maybe that's doable.
Yeah. Pixel is. I know he's drawing hot robot chicks, and who doesn't like hot robot chicks?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, so that's what we have. I'm just gonna put it on our stuff for now, but we're gonna go back to that. I want to see what you're working on, X.
Sure. Keep talking for a bit. Let me bring up that window and check check my Dropbox.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I guess since we got a second here, I'm gonna go ahead and go into. Maybe you have one, but I had kind of a crazy, funky Valentine Day story.
Okay.
I got into a tumultuous relationship with this young lady recently.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 38 days. 36 of those days, we were on the phone or with each other or talking to one another. Like we met at a bar. And then, and we were both, I think, kind of inebriated. But we shared numbers and everything, and then we started talking for, I don't know, like a month. And when I say talking, I mean I called her at 6:30 in the morning, and we were pretty much on the phone until one of us went to bed, or texting or something.
Yeah, so a little bit of mutual stalking.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
Hey, that's how I met my second wife.
So, all right, so we were together, but then we had this kind of soiree this rendezvous, right? Kind of romantic rendezvous we were going to set up that was sort of in between both of our birthdays. And we set it up to be in Savannah at like on the river, everything perfect. Actually, it was even like, just to give you the amount of serendipity that was into this moment, I had actually booked a different hotel, right? And the hotel called me and said, look, we overbooked the one you wanted, but we can give you one on the river for $80 less than it normally is. And I'm like, let's do it.
Okay.
And she loves like the water, she was always in love with the water. So I was like, oh, like this is perfect. So then, everything happens. The day that it happened, I had the worst work day of the year or just of a long time. I mean, it was I told you about it. It was like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I basically had to put in about 12 hours worth of work before I ever got there. And it was just supposed to be a dinner. And then we got there and it just felt like we had nothing to talk about. We had nothing to talk about. We had no chemistry. There was nothing there.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. It happens.
It was pretty, I don't know. It was pretty crazy. But getting back to the funky Valentines, like before the date, I had purchased these flowers and other stuff to be delivered to her because she was like, we had this conversation and she was like, yeah, nobody ever buys me. None of the guys I've been with have ever bought me anything for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, I'm going to do it right now. Right. So I went ahead and I bought it and everything. Well, then the event happened. We didn't have a good time. I made it even worse. And then we kind of ended disastrously. So I'm like, okay, I need to cancel these. So I call 1-800-Flowers. I'm like, hey, guys, I need to cancel this. And they're like, oh, it's too late. You can't cancel that now.
Isn't that, dude, that's weird. I mean, doesn't this happen to people all the time?
I would think so. And it's 3 freaking weeks away. It's not like I'm calling, I mean, I can understand if I was calling like 2 or 3 days in advance. And it was, it's like, you've only got like a day or it's out or whatever. But are you serious? Like you're telling me like 3 weeks in advance and it's too late?
Yeah. Like, couldn't they give the money to charity or something? Or, a men's shelter?
I don't know. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll pay for it. Just don't deliver it. And they said, I'm sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I'll pay for it. You can throw this shit away for all I care. You can give it to somebody else. Just don't send it to them.
But how did it turn out? So so they can't reverse it.
They can reverse it. They won't remove the messages, which are real lovey-dovey because we were lovey-dovey at the time. They won't let me, rescind it. They won't let me, obviously like pay for it and it not be delivered. So it's going to be delivered to her 2 days before Valentine's Day because she's off on Valentine's Day, and it's being delivered to her work.
Yeah.
So it's going to be delivered to her 2 days before Valentine's Day. So you and I talked about it, and you were like, you should write her a note, dude, so she knows you're not like still desperate and trying to stalk her. So I did. I said, yo, look, I'm like, I tried to cancel this and they wouldn't let me. Mm-hmm. So you can do what you want, burn it for incense for all I care.
So did your message get through? Do you think she got
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. She could have, because I mean, she was blocking me in a lot of areas. So it wouldn't surprise me if she blocked my email and didn't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, if she did, then I mean, I don't know. I don't care. I've done everything I can.
Yeah. See, this is the 21st century dating where like getting blocked. Like, I mean, you know, my current wife has me blocked on Facebook. And then for a while she would still take messages from my cat. And then my cat essentially offended her. So my cat's now blocked. So I think I can still DM her phone, but I'm not sure. I don't get read receipts from that. So
that's pretty crazy, man.
Fun times we live in, man. Fun times.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I don't know, man. It's, you know, it used to all be like, you know, you go to the bar, you pick somebody up, they're there. There's no other, you know, you like, if you want to see them, you know, most of it, you have to actually go out and, you know, throw a rock at their window or something. Isn't that what they always do in like the 80s movies, right? Or sit outside with a boombox.
Yeah, I've done that. I really did do that. The John Cusack from the what's the name of the movie? I had the trench coat.
Only You?
Say Anything. There you go.
Say Anything. He was like, your eyes, I like to be in your eyes. Yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah. Troy
Caster, what's up? What I missed? You missed this. You missed the funky Valentine's Day, man.
Yeah. Hey, good to see you again, Troy. It's been a week or so. What, 2 weeks now, right?
Yeah. So what's going on here, man? What am I looking at? I know I'm looking at Nikki, but I want to like, what's going on?
Yeah, I just finished this up this afternoon. This is a detail of it's going to be one of the feature pages from, I think, the 8th page of Sins of the Fae, which is your book. And I'm thinking, you know, we have all these little vignettes we've been looking at, and a lot of them just really stand well by themselves. Even though this is like just, you know, this is like maybe a square inch on the page. I love this art. You know, Hosan at Hosan Art on Twitter did the lines, got them to me 2 days ago. I've been coloring like a fiend into the night, and here's where we're at, man. You know, I think she's sort of evolved over the last month or so in colors, that she has silver eyes and silver hair.
Yeah.
And I love the way, you know, I love where this character is going. So here, this is a detail from another page. I'll bring up the final one. Got about 1 hour left of work to finish on the bottom here. This is it. There we go.
Ah, it looks so fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really is like a congress of like three minds. You know, I mean, the way that these pages come together, I think, is different than any other process that people do. Because everything I read, like I saw this guy the other day, this writer from Mad Cave Comics, and he's like, I've done my part. And he had 3 scripts, and they were like edited and everything. You could see like, you know, the highlight for the whiteout or whatever, you know, beneath the pages. And I was like, okay, cool. So he's just going to give it to his artists, and his artists are going to try to render as close to possible, you know, their translation of what he gave them. But we do things a little bit differently. I like create kind of a loose script with a particular objective, you know, and my objective is just that, like, you know, it's just like when I write, you know, I want every page to have its own feeling. And I give that to Hosan, but Hosan has a better, what we call camera eye, or you and I call it that. Camera eye or eye camera. He's just got a better eye for like the visual take on things than I do. So then he does that, and he comes back to me and he says, well, this is what I you know, give you from what you gave me. And I look at it and I go, all right. And then I rewrite it. I change it. I change it to fit what I see now. I don't make him fit me. I fit him. And what I think that creates is, I mean, you look at this, there's a resonance, man. There's like a resonant frequency that we've all got. It's just a great congress of minds. And, you know, I mean, there's like such serendipity between me and X sometimes. Like, go to the pink sky that you didn't even know about.
No, I didn't know about that. So yeah, let me scroll down to the bottom.
he created this like pink sky, right? It's kind of a magenta night. The thing is, in my world, the sun is red. So at night, the sky would be pink. And he didn't even know that. But that's the kind of, I mean, I think when you're just on frequency with each other, that's the kind of stuff that happens.
I believe in that. You know, I mean, I've got a formal background in art. I've done a lot more film and television than I have. I mean, I'm new to comic books. I mean, I realized I thought I could bring something new to this. But art means magic, essentially, where the word comes from. And I think there can be confluences that you weren't expecting. They just happen. So
yeah, I mean, I think when people share, you know, I mean, I'm not going to get too mystic about it, but I think when people share, and I think it's chemical, you know what I mean? I think like there's a certain potential chemical reaction. I mean, I know there is, you know, when you're doing, when you have the same kind of feelings, you know what I mean? And we've proven a lot of this through science, you know what I mean? It's like people that have a lot more feeling, that are a lot more like what they call high level of empathic accuracy. You end up figuring out that they actually have a bigger amygdala, you know, the part of the brain that's responsible for understanding sensation and pleasure. So it's like, okay, cool. You know, so there's a lot of science that goes to that. And I really do. I think people, when they work together and they're just meant to work together, like they do, like stuff like that just happens. And, you know, I think that we end up getting what I call, like, I'm beginning to say that, you know, we don't make comics, we don't make graphic novels. I call it stories in art or storied art. And, you know, the reason why I say that is because we're not just making, like, I think basic comic books or basic graphic novels, you know what I mean? They're written in sort of a Western format, and there's just filler, there's exposition, and your brain is just looking for reasons to just shut down and kind of go mindless. There is nothing about our book that's going to let you go mindless. The story's going to make you feel, the art's going to make you feel, the colors are going to make you feel. Every page, every panel is a piece of art. I mean, just look at what you're looking at. That's part of a panel. That could be a poster.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I try for. I mean, you know, with the print stuff that I've done in the past, you know, it has to be basically perfect. So, you know, if you're putting colors on a comic panel or a page, then the whole damn page should be perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I've jam-packed as much stuff as I can in here. And hopefully, you know, if we hit the stretch goals, if we get to do things, this could be a postcard, this could be a t-shirt, this could be part of the bookmark, the alternate cover. Who knows, right? But we're sort of putting in the legwork up front that it's ready to go. You know, I don't think there's very many comics in comicsgate that look as good as ours do, frankly.
I mean, there's not many comics in general that look as great as like either Sins of the Fae or Sway are going to look, or they do look already. I mean, these are just as far as like composition, art, direction, and everything. This is about as good as it gets, in my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm biased, but that's what I'm just going to tell you. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Again, this is another favorite. This is, you know, this is the other character. This is Granny, and you know, there's fire going on everywhere. There's magic, and again, Hosan does just the most fantastic line work. So, you know, I was joking with him, but you know, it almost makes it easy for me to color it. Right? See, sort of on the right side, you know, with her hair, it's chromatic aberration. So the way you might see something in real life, there's the heat coming off, and maybe your eye is watering.
Yeah.
And you know, and the red sort of flares against it. And you see that in film sometimes.
Oh, I love like the magic muzzle flare at the end, because she's not firing bullets, guys. She's a witch. So she's basically focusing her magic through her rifle. Think of the rifle as being like a wand.
Yep, it's got sparkles, and yeah, this book has lots and lots of sparkles in it.
Are we sparkly? Do we have
it's sparkly? Yeah.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, lots of sparks and then lots of splatter for the bad guys right here.
Yeah.
And I love that piece. This is such an abstract, crazy thing. If I zoom out a bit, you know, it's clear what it is. Here we go.
Yeah, and, I mean, I don't know, like Hosan took what I told him, because I mean, what I told him is that I could actually show, maybe I should show, like, I have his first ever his first ever ghoul that he ever created, and he has like little notes on it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here it is. Let me share that real quick.
Sure. Let's see.
Right there, see?
Oh, I think I saw this at the very beginning of the project. Yeah, that's cool. It's a great imagination, man.
Yeah, it's a creature made up of broken bones and rotting flesh, banded together in hatred and resentment of all life. Kind of. The ghouls
Sure.
are just, I think said before, they're just like spirits that police the world of the dead. And there's a covenant that you can't, that the living can't speak to the dead. And that's,
Yep.
Supposed to be the thing. But Nikki breaks the covenant when she goes to visit her grandmother. And so the ghouls like rise up. And when they do, they sort of just like grab whatever masses around them. Their spirits just roaming around. And they just sort of grab whatever masses around them and form a body. So they can be made of like bone, stone, rock, houses, trees,
Yep.
plant, whatever's around them. And Hosan does a really good job of making that true. You can see like these creatures. I mean, there's everything. Like there's a skull, there's a rock, there's a piece of crystal, there's nails. I mean, he's just so good, so good.
Yeah, they're great and creepy. Like this thing, and then he always sort of has teeth coming out of unlikely places or claws. It's kind of hard to tell. And these little skulls, which are just, especially when there's more than one skull on a creature.
Yeah, he just has such imagination. And the other thing is like I had these colored before by someone else. I'm not going to mention the name, because I didn't think he did a good job. But when he did them, like there was blood in these, and I had specifically said they don't have blood. So I mean, he wasn't even paying attention to what I sent him, which I was like, I mean, if you have a colorist or anybody that is, is not paying attention to you at all.
Yeah, maybe it's, well, I mean, I don't want to, toot my horn, but I remember, we were reviewing some of the earlier art, some of the colors, and I was like, don't worry about it, dude. I'll fix it later.
Yeah, you just kept saying that, and I'm like, well, why don't you just do it? And why don't I pay you for it? And you were like, yeah, okay, like I'll try it. And then this was one of the first pieces he gave me, and I'm like, you're hired.
Yeah, this is the first piece I did.
Like I said, once you go Xeviuss, you don't go back. You're done.
Well, I mean, I want to, if she catches this later, but like, we were on Mandy Summers' show the other night, and I love her energy. That's why I look forward to doing that anytime she wants. And she was like, oh my, what? Those colors are, she's like, you color like Kyle Ritter. I was like, no, I don't want to get, I don't want my head to get too big yet. But Kyle Ritter is the colorist, for anybody who doesn't know us listening, for everything that Ethan Van Sciver does. And he's my, he's where I set the bar. He's I look at his stuff so closely every time he puts something out, and he's just that good. So I'm just basically trying to be as good as Kyle. That's my MO,
Yeah.
So hey, when people recognize it and they think it's getting there, then I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know. I could see like, especially in this piece, I could see like, the Kyle reference or just inspiration, because I mean, he does really good like particle and fire and magic and stuff like that. I mean, his I don't know, his colors are just crazy. But you have a different palette than a lot of these guys, though. A lot of these guys have what I would call a comic book palette. It's kind of darker. It's kind of more edgy. I don't know. It's just, but it's not really as colorful.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say that's right, or am I just misspeaking there?
Oh no, that's totally right. And again, I'm not talking about Kyle here. Kyle, I love his palette too, because he's not afraid. Okay, well, here's the way I put it: is I'm not afraid of color, like at all. Obviously, right? I mean, that is bright red, bright orange, crazy yellow to the point of almost being a little bit acidic, and there's a bit of cyan in the mix. And I don't see this in very many other colorists out there. But again, doing what I do, working with photography, working with video, and being a painter, fine art painter for almost 30 years, I just go for the colors because I know how to balance them, right? Like, so, this is the red and yellow and orange one. They're all adjacent colors. And then when I switch gears to something totally like, let's see, this one, basically this sort of bounces the top against the bottom. Yeah, I think people are afraid of color because they don't really know how to use it. But I mean, color is absolutely, it's a science, exactly the same way that, in music, you have, say, your tonic, you can go up a fifth, you can go up a third, you can go up a minor seventh. There's a mathematical dissonance that'll happen. Colors use the exact same mathematics for wavelengths of the light. So you just engineer it like that,
I mean, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, you're talking about energy moving through a certain fluid medium. So, I mean, it kind of, you know, it's somewhat similar in both those regards. So, I mean, it does make sense. I don't think most people are going to see it that way. They're going to be like, what? When did this become a physics show?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, say from this page, from the top to the bottom, the complementary color, the opposite, and it's a mathematical opposite of the yellow in the flame at the top, is the dead opposite of the purple on the bottom right in the trailer, right?
Okay.
So that creates a dissonance, and it's going to make your eyes sort of bounce in between the two. And it's called it activates the surface. It's visually interesting, and it moves them apart from each other, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll see a lot of these guys, they'll flat the whole thing and then sort of sit back and then start picking what shade a particular thing is. And I think they miss a lot of opportunity, right? So, you know, that's at the same time, you know, this is like playing jazz. I just kind of wing it.
Wow. I remember, I don't know, I remember taking an art appreciation class when I was in college, and like, or a music appreciation. And my teacher had us like go to a whole bunch because he was a big jazz guy.
Yep.
And, you know, like you were saying, I mean, it's kind of just completely improv. I mean, they literally work on, normally they just have like a little booklet, and it's called what, pocket changes. And the pocket changes are just like their chord variations. And when they want to play like, you know, their brand of whatever, they just say, yeah, you know, this on the minor, this on the blah, 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 blah. And the guys go, okay. And then they just play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can call it charts. You can get outside of it a little bit if you want to. You got to sort of reel it back in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, you know, this is a crazy piece here. You know, it's grounded with a lot of neutral color at the bottom, the browns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to activate it. And again, here's the crazy pink sky,
Yep.
which I didn't know about. And it was actually suggested by Hosan, who doesn't get involved in the colors, but he's like, let's have the bomb guy, as he's being thrown, have a green tint to him. So this affected the next couple pages. But I mean, you know, these colors work together because the center point of this, the big dude in the back, is pretty much that hot magenta is a dead opposite of the green. A good portion of the shades of green up on the top right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it just makes it come almost off the page, you know.
I want to put like a make a meme out of this and say batter up, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So hey, you know, that's I mean, again, it's totally subconscious. I just kind of go at it. I'll pick a color, I'll mess around with it. If it's not working, I've got no problem deleting it and coming back the next day, because I've got enough pages to do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, seeing them lined up as thumbnails on the right side, the left of the screen. Yeah, there's a lot of there's still consistency. You know, I see the theme of the fire through everything.
I can see like the theme and everything, but what I love, and I think it's gonna, you know, we were talking about this today, and I mean, I guess we'll get into this a little bit, is that there's a science to all of this. You know, the way that you can kind of make it so that people aren't falling asleep when they're reading is it's changed up. You know what I mean? It's and if you look at manga, especially, they do this. They make a lot of their characters asymmetric, and people are like, oh, you know, what's the reason for that? I mean, there's a reason in the story, you know, all the time. But one of the major reasons thematically is because it draws your eye.
Yeah.
It draws your eye. It's different, and it makes you take notice. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that, you know, when you have these sort of events that when you have these sort of like I don't know, like the new Marvel comics or everything. I mean, it's muddy. All the colors are the same. The panel structure is all blocky, and it's kind of boring. Yeah, and your brain consistently looks for, like, as a former psychologist, your brain literally looks for ways to offload what's called your cognitive function. Like, it wants you not to have to think and make decisions. It doesn't want to go into executive function, okay, or critical thinking. And so anything that it can offload, it will. So if you're like making yourself go through these comics, right, or if you are going through these comics and they're just not making you think, they're not like giving you any kind of, like, you know, emotional chemical high, right, no dopamine, nothing, like it's not making you feel anything, then you're just gonna blase through it and not even remember it by the end.
Well, see, I mean, the asymmetry is a really good point. And you know, as part of comicsgate, I mean, there's all kinds of politics and silliness that happens. But I remember I'm a big fan of the way that Doug TenNapel paints with a brush.
Okay.
And all of his main characters have total asymmetry. Like, if you look at like Earthworm Jim or whatever, there'll be like a big eye and a little eye.
Mm-hmm.
That immediately is compelling because it makes you wonder what's going on. It makes you sort of hold on the page. And he does it with all of his characters. And, and whether he's a jackass or not or something, that's, not for now. But he's a really, really good character designer because he understands asymmetry.
Yep.
Yeah. And as do a whole bunch of people in comicsgate too. There's no lack of really good character designs, but that's just, making eyes different from left to right is a real, that's a good trick.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's just a lot to that, right? I mean, there's a lot to those like subtle variations that kind of pull the eye and that just keep you interested. Because I mean, that's what it is. Like there's a science to all this. There's a science to reading. Okay. There's a science to I want this to be a habit. I want every time you turn the page for your eyes to light up and your dopamine and for you to get that nice dopamine hit, because this is how basically this science works. All right. If you're expecting something and it's moderate or higher, and it reaches a moderate to high level of satisfaction for you, then you get a dopamine hit and you're like, "Ooh, I like it." Yep. Now, here's the problem. This is an issue with relationships too, guys, that if the expectation is below moderate, you actually flush your body with cortisol instead, which makes you feel uncomfortable and alone, because that's the chemical that our body secretes when we're away from the pack to make us to send us into like a hyper acute state of awareness and alertness.
Gotcha.
I know we're getting in the weeds here a little bit, but look at them eyes.
And again, there's a science to all the color. We've talked about that. And there's subtle things here too. Like I said, again, without sort of knowing what your motivation is entirely, I basically drew, it's very subtle, but there's wolf eyes in the white, right?
Oh, I love it. I love this image so hard. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, thank you. It took all of us to do it, but
I mean, yeah, it's Hosan. It's, I mean, I told him that I wanted this kind of particular image. I mean, this portion of it is where, Nikki she's kind of resigned to protect her children. It's one thing to oh, I'm going to protect my children. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, and then another to be like, this is not protecting her children. This is not she's just lost her grandmother here. And she has to, in order to receive the power she's about to receive, she has to remember a time with her grandmother. She has to have a memory that she has with her disappear forever. And with every memory that she gives, she gets a spell. And she learns a little bit more about how to be a witch, how to be the hero that she's got to become to save her kids. And so this is her just going basically fuck you, fuck the world, fuck everybody. You're in my way and you're going to die.
Yeah. There you go. So she, not literally, but she subtly, there's basically the wolf and those evil gown churned, eyes. And as her eyes go from silver to radiant blue, and then that ties into all the other magic because she always glows blue.
Yeah.
Right. And then, hey, there's a bit of pink in here just to activate the surface when this thing happens in print. This is going to look rad because you got these little pink dots or magenta. And it's pure magenta too, by the way. It'll actually be sitting right on the page, off of the paper. So, yeah,
So we got Troy up in there. He says, "What's up? What I miss?" And dope. So he's liking what he sees. Pixel says, "Haha, I'm back and now I have a wrench." And he flexed.
Yeah.
Rawr. And then he says the legs on the legs on that Star Wars background almost perfectly pair with that image.
It was a fun game. Yeah. Can I do that between all these monitors? Maybe. But yeah. Good to see some of the old gang back. So,
yeah, we're gonna get the old gang, the new gang. Tweet it out, guys. Share it out. Get us in there and give us a like. Do all those good things that pump people up. We're gonna try to get just a little bit better because that's what a habit is, right? 1% better every day. Tiny changes, remarkable results. That's what we're going for.
It reminds me, man. We're the brand new guys as of now. Guys, we've got one sub. Let's like and sub. If you like,
where are my subs, guys? Come on.
yeah,
And if you want to send a sub sandwich, I'd accept that too. I like steak and cheese.
I can love Subway. Yeah, whole wheat 12-inch with a ham.
Oh, there you go. I don't know. I like the Italian. I'm sort of an Italian guy.
Okay. Yeah, what, a little Genoa, a little bit of what else is in there? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was talking about the Italian bread, but I like the Italian. I mean, the Genoa tomato, usually like pepperoni, red onion. God, it's making my mouth water thinking about it, so I probably shouldn't.
Stop it. It's like food talk at 2:00 in the morning.
I know, right? That's like dangerous. Like, why would you do that? That's just on your trip to diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what else is? I guess we've seen most of the stuff here. I appreciate the compliments in the chat. It's cool. It's gonna be a good book. I'll have a new page out to tease, tomorrow afternoon, something like that, when it's fully finished. I'm gonna show you one last bit here.
He says those eyes are sick. We were talking about it earlier, Troy. He and I were that those eyes alone, like you could blow that up. That could be a painting on somebody's wall.
Oh, I fully believe that. I think that there's a couple paintings on here, and we should talk about getting some prints happening. I mean,
yeah, I was looking at like what I was thinking that would be kind of a cool tier goal, because this guy in Facebook asked me. I've been starting to try and put stuff out in some of the groups. I join like 1 or 2 groups a day, and then I post about like the upcoming thing, and they let usually they're not big on solicitation, but they'll let you do like one every week or so. So I'm doing like one on the upcoming books and the upcoming products, with Blade Knight Productions, Sins of the Fae, and Sway. And he was asking me, what kind of perks we were going to have. And one of the things that I came up with on the spot was like vignetted postcards, like this. Turn this into like a postcard.
Oh, for sure.
Glossy postcard. Who wouldn't buy that?
Well, I mean, I'd love that. But also, I mean, even doing some large format stuff. I showed you guys some of the art in my house. I've got some moderately decent artists in my community.
Mm-hmm.
And I had I had a commission done. It's a 6 foot by 2 foot, but it's 4 emojis, right? That's it. But it's 6 feet wide. I mean, would you want this like 3 by 3 feet in your living room? Because I think,
dude, if this book takes off, I'm getting all this shit in like big posters. I'm getting all this stuff and putting it all over my walls. Like that's going to be my new office. Is just a lot of these pictures just surrounding me.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, every one of these things, like that right there. Is that a T-shirt with like the logo on it? Yeah, could be.
Oh, I could see it.
Why wouldn't it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really, this took a good chunk of the last couple of days, but I kind of overthought some of it. We got like rivets on her pants, and I still haven't even done the, we talked about what color to make the, the butt of the rifle. So we're going rosewood. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is in the book. It's rosewood.
Okay.
In the novel, because this is all based on a novel I wrote, guys. Yep. But yeah, that's what I would see is it's rosewood. I had all the different wood and metal and everything like very, very scripted out for this entire process. But I kind of let Hassan go with what he wanted.
Okay. Yeah, all I've really got left here to do is there's a couple of dudes that I haven't colored in the earth tones right up here at the top. And actually, that'll add a lot. This dude's got a really creepy face. You can't really see it with the purple. And maybe a little bit more gore, a little bit more of the splatters. But then I'll pretty much call it a day. I think it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. We can here, just give me a second, and I'll go back to mine, and we'll just take a look at a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things that we've been working on, and we're going to close out here in a bit, is why I've come here. This is Blade Knight Productions. This is the company that Blade Knight was literally my first professional pseudonym. I made some articles and poetry for Louisville Magazine when I went to the University of Louisville. Mm-hmm. And I approached them under Sir Bladanites.
Gotcha.
And I remember the editor was like, I'm not going to say Sir Bladanites. What about Blade Knight? And I'm like, yeah, that works. That's probably better.
Yeah, don't blame him.
So Blade Knight Productions, X has loved that name ever since he heard it. So when I was coming up with names for a new publishing company. That's what it became. So Blade Knight Productions, start here, end here. And we don't create graphic novels or comics. We create storied art, which that's the whole idea of storied art. Storied art start, kind of a millennial thing. Mm-hmm. But these are some of the pictures that we've got. You've got like right there in the aperture for a second. There was the picture of Sway, and here's the cover for Sway, which we are very happy with. Are we not?
Oh man, yeah. It was a thrill to work on that with the. We haven't talked about releasing his name. He's a big shot in Hollywood, period.
And, we got a really, really big name to do that cover.
Yep.
And most of the reason why he did it is because he knows X, but he also liked the story. But like I said, most of it is just because X is connected and they were buds.
Yep.
So it was really I appreciated that. That was really great. But go to bladeknight.com. I'm putting the if you want to put the link up in there for me, Pixel, since you're a mod.
That's with the wrench.
You can go to bladeknight.com, take a look at all these on your own computer. Fantastic images. There's also a separate landing page for both comic books that we're coming out with, which is Sins of the Fae.
Yeah.
And Sins of the Fae is little story.
Man, I'm kind of struck by seeing this all in one place. We've been busy guys, man. Like we've only been at this for less than 3 months. I've done a lot of colors. You've done a lot of colors.
We've, put together like a whole lot of really good work,
mm-hmm.
But Sins of the Fae, the tagline is for every sin, there will be a reckoning. We have ghouls of the spirit world, Nikki and Granny, and then Granny's going to keep her safe, but at what cost? And then I love this vignette that you did. I absolutely love it. I use this for probably more than I should, but I love it.
I do too. Everybody listening, who's trying to have fun on Twitter or trying to get your stuff out there, whatever you do, it is so hard to gauge. In fact, it's not hard to gauge. It's impossible what people will respond to, what they won't. But I tweeted this and thought this is going to get 462 likes, and it had 7. Because Twitter's not about evaluating how good something is. It's just about when you caught people thinking about what, right?
Yeah, it's when you caught them or how big of a reach you have in general.
I mean, can you imagine doing a compendium of a couple books 2 years down the road and doing that all with gold?
Oh man, it'd be so awesome. It'd be so awesome. Little swirlies right there, the sparkles.
I call them sparklies. We got lots of sparklies.
We do. We have lots of sparklies.
But imagine that on your coffee table, 12 by 14 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Metallic. That would be beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we do have a mailing list up for Blade Knight, and that is where that's where I'm going to send all the information. I've got an intro that I'm going to send out once I get 150, and that's not too much longer. So then I'm going to send an introduction email for the campaign. I'm not going to spam people. I don't want to unless people ask for a newsletter, I'm not going to present one every week. If they want one, then I'll make it. But otherwise, I'm not going to spam people because I find that most people aren't into that.
No, dude, that drives me nuts, actually.
Exactly. And so, just join the mailing list. I'm not going to spam you. I am just going to tell you, if there's special features or something that I'm only going to offer the mailing list, then, people will get that information.
Yeah. And that's something we can talk about offline another time. But that is one good way to get people to do that and to offer value for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then this is for Sway. And what's kind of funny is in the midst of doing this, I think I came up with the perfect Sway tagline, which is somewhere in the middle between the light and dark is the answer, and her name is Sway.
Yeah, that's the best one yet. I would stay with that for now, at least, for sure.
I just love that image. I love her face. She just got a bring it on face.
Oh yeah.
No shit's given, no fucks given at all.
Dude, I worked almost a month getting it right, going back and forth with what's his face.
Mm-hmm.
Almost got fired off the project, or vice versa. But I pushed for it, and we found a good. We found the right face, so it was worth it.
Yeah, it's just so perfect. I mean, I think for years to come, that is going to be the best expression ever. And that's going to be, you and I are probably both going to have that as a framed in our house, You
know what? I've got to do it for sure. Win or lose, I'd love to have that.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll definitely have that done. And this is one of the first images you actually you did for me.
Yep.
Which again, I mean, just so much art in this, just so much, just fantastic imagery and everything. You know, in every like panel, every page, every character. I think we named this character. What did we name her?
Oh shoot, we did.
It was a basic name.
Was it Penelope?
Something like that. I can't remember what to go. I don't know.
That's right. Because yeah, when we get back to it, we want to start putting her in more shots, right?
Yeah, just a hot devil chick.
Yeah, she's got the hot pants in the hot pink.
I should say this is not the art that's being done here is not Joe Sanchez who's at Hosan Art. This is Jason Johnson at Jason Johnson Art on Twitter.
Yep, he's good.
Yeah, he's very good. He's done a few different things for us. He did the this stuff, and we like to do like faux covers every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. X and I just like to give ourselves more work.
Yeah. it's like, yeah, it's like I'll take a day to like to meme on Ethan or Jeremy, and like make no money, and hey, and get 200 likes. So fuck, sometimes it's fun.
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting. He says Jeremy, talking about Jeremy Griggs, isn't it, from Geeks and Gamers?
Yeah, like, I mean, I do pretty much all of his stuff now. So yeah,
he was talking to I don't know. He was like I don't know. I don't want to go too much in the weeds with this, but he's who was it? Like, what's that girl? Krista, Darth Barbie.
Uh-huh.
Who is he under Geeks and Gamers? He employs a lot of people. A lot of them, many of them are very beautiful women, and one of those women is called Darth Barbie. She's kind of very emotive. Like she does a lot of faces. But anyways, they were on the phone, and she apparently told him when he was getting a cappuccino at McDonald's to get barbecue sauce for no reason.
Okay.
So he did.
Oh,
which is weird.
Hey, all the time we have in the day to watch different YouTube channels, including ours, start a news station. Yeah, you can't watch everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And, my tastes range from, I'll fade over the last, I've probably been on here for about 7 years listening. I mean, not broadcasting. And I consistently find pretty much everything in the Geeks and Gamers crew. I try to catch it all every day. And that's not always possible. Mm-hmm. But I just think that there's a vibe to it. There's a vibe to the fandom menace, of which we're very much a part of. And it's a really nice way to spend, 'cause there's a lot of good, snappy, 10-minute videos, 20-minute videos with Josiah, with Ryan Keinel, with, all of them. And yeah, I mean, if you guys, don't already follow those guys or watch them on YouTube, you really should, because it's just, it's a lot of fun, like Jeremy shows. He's always sort of kind of got this, he's almost turning into a curmudgeon. It's like, darn it, this thing happened. Damn it, Hollywood, what's going on? But there's a sense of humor to it and a levity that I think is just, that's what fuels the community.
Yeah, I think so too. So, we want these projects obviously to just make, a lot of money so I can pay X and I can pay Jason and Joe a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And, we can all like get these books in conventions and in comic book stores, because I think anywhere we get these books, they'll sell. I mean, I take these to my gym, to my boxing gym, and my trainer's like, dude, I don't know what that is, but I'd buy it.
Yep. It's doable. I think Pixel's still in here. Pixel's been around Comic-Con. I've been there most years. And I mean, I would love an excuse to get all of us together for a beer and actually have product or a booth. I mean, wouldn't that be a blast?
Oh yeah, man. We could hire local talent for booth babes. I'd be down. Well,
we got till July. End of July. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but you never know. Plus, hey, there was talk about a comicsgate convention. Have you caught much about that?
No. I have no idea what would happen there.
I don't know what the details are, but I would be there with bells on, man. That would be.
All I know is I'm not being a centipede if that's happening. I can tell you that.
Yes, right. Yes.
I'll be there with I'll be there with guns in my holster if you think of that.
That's right.
But no, I mean, I would be down for something like that. I wouldn't care. Mm-hmm. But I think that, but I mean, hey, it's pretty lonely at the top, boys. You better start bringing it. I'm just saying, like, there's not many people with covers like that.
No.
Or, like Sway. Obviously, like, I don't know, like everybody's has got their own game, their own shtick. You know what I mean? I mean, we're just trying to be as professional and as amazing as we can be.
Yep.
And I think, I don't know, I think we're doing a good job so far.
Again, I haven't never seen it all presented like just side by side by side. I mean, I have my desktop and I got my folders, but seeing it in a carousel, yeah, dude, this stuff looks fucking awesome. It's working.
What I like about it is that, I mean, it looks like it belongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything there looks like it belongs with each other. Even, I mean, like when I was sending out some posts on Twitter, it was kind of interesting to put like the Sins of the Fae cover and the Sway cover together. I was like, crap, these things look like they belong to each other. It's like a family,
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, when I talk about how, this is just like doing jazz, I'm just riffing and seeing what works. At the same time, like, I'm sticking to pretty strict rules. And because of my background, I mean, I learned how to cut film before. I mean, now you just pull out your laptop and start goofing around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have touchstone colors because I know what they're going to do on paper. So, when you see, like, say, the shorts are about to go by on Penelope, I know that those are going to pop off the page more than anything. And that's
there they go right there. Yeah, baby.
And I've got the same color in the background for Central Park with Azrael emerging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something totally different because I want the heat of the flame. But the yellow and magenta on top of it are going to do the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I suppose my palette does come through. Or, if you look at my media on my Twitter, there's a theme. Like you can tell who did stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really cool to see this all together. Interesting. Yeah. We haven't talked about. I think Sins quite possibly we do in black and white with metallic inks, right?
You had mentioned that. Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna honestly, like, when it comes to that, like, I'm gonna have you show me what it would look like, and then I'm probably just gonna be like, okay.
Yep. I'll just comp it and we can say yay or nay, but it's a way to go.
I mean, I could see it, and I mean, I just like I'm not as visual as you guys. So I would need to, or I guess that's not true. I am as visual, but I would need to see it is what I'm saying. Is more like I'm not able to imagine it, because I haven't seen, like you've probably done that process yourself like 100 times. So you can just see it, how it's going to be. I can't. So.
Yep. So, and who knows, that might not be the right choice for the end, but metallic with a black metallic and a red foil and a silver foil embossed, raised up out of the cover.
Sounds beautiful to me.
Mm-hmm. That'd be something.
Yeah, I can't wait to really get into the meat of these comic books. And I mean, I think we've pretty much decided, unless I hear something else. But I mean, I want to do both of these at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're probably going to do is put one on Indiegogo, one on Kickstarter, and fund them both. And then once they're funded, switch them.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. There's no reason why a Kickstarter wouldn't take either of them. So let's let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any objectionable material or anything like that. There's nothing there's no agenda that I'm pushing. These are just really good books, and these are fantastic, like strong female characters.
Yep.
I mean, there is like, I mean, in the Sins of the Fae cover, that's CJ, who is obviously a male character, but I mean, he kicks butt. It's not like in a lot of books, where they've got like, oh, let's raise the women and lower the dudes. That's not what happens.
No, and I mean, we're all friends here, and I think the audience, I mean, who knows if we listen to us, on replay tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of politics inside of comicsgate. We're 100% behind that, and friends with pretty much everybody full on. But I mean, as I mean, I'm always trying to reach the mainstream. I've reached out. I had a fun exchange with Gail Simone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care about her politics. I mean, I don't have to hang around with her. She's not my fucking roommate. But
yeah, you don't want to. She's married. You don't want to have sex with her. I mean,
no, but I truly mean that. Like, she complimented one of our pages not too long ago. So I mean, if Gail Simone wants to be a friend, and I mean, okay. I mean, I'm down with that, or anybody, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, everybody's got everybody has their own politics.
That's
what I mean?
Right.
I learned quite recently that I'm not as conservative as I would think. But I don't want to talk about that too much, but because we get in the weeds about it. But I'm not quite as conservative. I have a few different thoughts than some of the people do, and I mean, that's fine. Yeah. I would say that if I had to, so I mean, like I said, I don't want to go into it because I will, and then we'll get in the weeds. But it is, regardless, like I don't care about anybody's politics. I don't care what they, as long as you don't like want to attack me or insult me, we can talk.
Yeah. In fact, I meant it in a more sort of pragmatic way. Like some of the people involved, and I'm involved with in other projects who are in Hollywood and inside of comic books, they signal publicly as being weirdos and all they do is they tweet about Trump.
Yeah, and we don't really we're not going to have anything to say to those people.
Oh, but I'm saying that I think a lot of people are faking it to keep their jobs.
No, I mean, that's very possible.
Yep, and I mean that.
So if you're in like a liberal atmosphere or extremely leftist atmosphere that hates Trump or it hates everything so bad, and if you, speak in congruence with them instead, then, you could be, then you're the, the duckling that needs to be hit. So
that's right. So my point is that, and I'm, we've talked about this, and I'm trying to reach into Hollywood as much as I can, or more so, that even if you outwardly are anti-Trump all the time, every day on Twitter, you might see this and go, damn, this comic looks awesome. I support it. Right.
Would you saw I don't know, like this is in the weeds, but it is just kind of in line with what we're talking about. There was this woman, I don't know the names, I'm sorry, but I know they're like positions. There was a very beautiful woman that she's a GameStop representative and she's a Twitch affiliate. And she's a beautiful woman that likes Lara Croft, the original version of Lara Croft with like the short shorts and, kind of belly showing and everything. And the new one's a little bit more conservative. And there was a guy who was an ex-developer for EverQuest. The old MMO EverQuest?
Keep talking about, put my screen back on. I'm going to flip through some other stuff.
Sure. And he made she came out and she said, or he made a post about how basically he was glad that video games had moved on and they were more progressive and they didn't have to show women in scantily clad outfits. And she was like, well, I kind of like it. And I am a woman.
Yes.
And then he spoke out against her. He came at her and, said that, she should be more mindful. And then like he called her company out. He called GameStop and said they should do something to her.
Really?
Yeah. And she was like, okay, this is a little stupid. This is a little silly. So I'm going to, she's like, I can't believe you called my company on that. And she's like, it's funny how, and his dude's, he represents as a male feminist, obviously. And she's, which is funny, right? Like a male feminist telling a woman what she should want as a woman.
Oh man, that's the clown world stuff. I know. I get it.
And so she says, you know what? Like, how are you supposed to be a male feminist and represent what a woman wants when you won't even, respect what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I don't know. They went back and forth, and he like shut his account down and said he was going to call corporate, and then he tried to call the police because her fans were apparently harassing him. And it's just, I don't know. It's all kinds of stupid.
That's totally stupid. Obviously.
Yeah. I'm just like, really? And the only reason I remember is actually because of a meme that somebody sort of created, which was this guy looks like an alternate world, like Green Ranger. Tommy, what's his face? The guy that played the Green Ranger for the Power Rangers.
You know what? I don't. Sorry. Go on.
No problem. And so, and he looks like a sort of, he looked like he could be his doppelganger, like his brother, right? And somebody had but in the Power Rangers like old show, Tommy, when he called his ranger, he played his dagger like a flute. And so somebody found that and they said, this is how he called the police.
Right.
So I remember, that's the only reason I remember the whole damn story.
Cool story, bro.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when we actually like go into the names, but it was just such like a happenstance kind of thing. I didn't think about it.
Okay.
I mean, I gave enough information. If anybody wanted to look it up, they could. The Quartering did a show on it today, so you can check out Hambly. I mean, he covers that kind of stuff better than anybody else could.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so today was when we first chatted late this afternoon, today was a hell of a bit of a coup for comicsgate. I'm really happy to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing fantastic. It's a really great job. And, or we are, however you want to put that. And I think that, I mean, I don't know, like the only thing we can do is continue to move forward. I think look, like I'm not one of the people that like kind of hates like what the mainstream's doing. I think a lot of these people they got their chance, you know, for whatever reason, and they're making what they want to make. Well, that's cool. This is what I want to make.
Yeah, I mean, I was I had the idea to do a show about that sometime, you know, later this week, next week.
Mhm.
I'm a little bit more hardline than you are on that.
Mhm.
Where I don't say I'm not hating the mainstream, but you know, I've been paying attention to James Bond because I mean I grew up on that,
Mhm.
and you know, the fact that they're I'm not thrilled with what they're doing with the movie. And the second issue came out. I meant to pick it up, but my buddy got to the hospital on the weekend. But you know, to take James Bond and then pick two lesbian women of color is a real affront, I think, to everybody who's a fan of James Bond. You know, like what do you think of that?
I think that's a topic for another day.
Okay, sure. And yeah,
Because because we could really get in. You know what I mean? That's meaty.
mm-hmm.
So and we want to kind of keep these to like an hour
Yep.
or a little bit over, so that we can, you know, a little bit shorter than last time. Maybe we'll do longer ones every once in a while.
Yep.
But I just want to thank everybody one more time for coming in. You know, if you did enjoy what we were talking about, we want to try and do this about at least 3 times a week.
Yep.
You know, possibly more, depending on if a lot of people like it, right? So, you know, slap that like button, you know, hit the bell for notification, subscribe, and leave us a comment. You know, engage with us and tell us what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I want to I recognize some names here in the chat, and I want to thank you guys. It looks like pretty much everybody who came and listened for a bit actually subbed. That's a very cool portent for what's to come. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right,
Okay.
guys. Well, we thank you very much once again for coming in. Is there any closing words you have, X?
No, just as always, come follow me on Twitter. I do something interesting just about every day, at least in my own mind, and I'm at so sure.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's put those out there. It's at the Buddy Lord is me, and at Xeviuss. Here, we'll actually just make it easier.
Yeah, pop
Right there. Bang.
Cool. Thanks, Troy. Have a good night too.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
Okay. Till the next one. Take care.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.